Where do I begin? So Steve Bragg, the owner and designer at Empress Effects, hit me up and offered to send me this to check out. And the reason I'm saying this is because I just want to be as transparent as possible that no, a video was not part of the deal to check this thing out, and Steve even offered to pay shipping back from me to him if I didn't like this thing. And sorry, Steve, you're probably never going to see this again. So I've had the Zoia probably for about a month now, and I've been taking it in little sips because at times it could feel like you're drinking from the fire hose because it has like an endless amount of possibilities. And on top of that, I really wanted to wrap my head around it so I can present to you my 5 reasons why I think you should consider getting one. All right, let's get into it. This is a super weird, geeky thing that I didn't even realize I'd want until I cracked the code on the Zoia. The Zoia is so much more than a pedal. It's an instrument, a full-blown digital modular synthesizer. But what makes it awesome is that I don't need attenuverters. So what are those, you say? Well, it's essentially a way to control how quiet or how loud a signal is going from one space to another. So in making connections in like a modular world, you need a separate module in most cases just to turn it down, otherwise you're sending the full range of CV from one spot to another spot. But in the case of the Zoia, it's a part of every connection. Anytime you make a connection, you have an adjustment that you can adjust right then and there or later, and this saves you tons of space and tons of headaches when patching and creating. Next to not needing attenuverters, you don't need multipliers either. It's essentially like everything is on a banana plug and can be sent to multiple places at once, and again with independent levels between each connection. This one was a huge plus, and I'm sure it is to those of you who have been in that situation where you've ran out of stackables or mults or cables. So I have a love-hate relationship with program changes, and I'm super happy to see that this effects box actually has program changes within it and handles them really well and really quickly. For example, I haven't been in a situation yet where I've jumped from one patch to another and heard some weird glitch of audio changing between patches or anything like that. For example, check this out. So here I have a song, right? And I'll switch up to another pattern, let's say this one, and watch the Zoia. Easy peasy, switches super quick. So now let's go ahead and mute some stuff so we can really hear what it's doing. We'll go back to the other pattern. Super fast. And for shits, let's go to this last one. Easy. Again, like I mentioned in my Synthplex Roundup video, the Zoia is a lot easier to use than I originally thought. It's honestly just like connecting the dots, and I know it could be a little intimidating at first, but what instrument isn't? The great thing about the Zoia though is it can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. For example, I got this sound. I want that sound to go into the pedal. Enable that. Sweet, you can see our audio there. Where do I want this to go to? I want to go to a reverb. Let's just say reverb light. Done. Take that audio in and connect it. Now you can see it's going there and it's coming out here. There's that signal. Where do I want this to go to? To the audio out. Boom, left and right. Done. See what I'm talking about? Now, to make it complicated, add one of the 80 plus modules that are constantly being updated and added to that list, and you got yourself hours and hours of patching and creating the perfect effect. Speaking of constantly being updated, they're listening. Every time I talk to somebody at the Empress team, they're always mentioning some new update that just happened or is about to happen. And on top of that, all the users that use the Zoia and all the patches that they continuously upload and update to patchstorage.com is another major plus. Honestly, the Empress team just rocks. Every interaction I've had with them, whether it be on the front lines at an event or over email or just watching their videos and tutorials, They're all super cool, super nice, and it's really cool to see that vibe and energy trickle down from the company standpoint into the community and into the users, because that's a major plus when it comes to using this thing, especially like I was mentioning earlier. It can be really complicated if you want it to be, so kind of having that extra helping hand and a lot more clarity on what it can do is a big plus for me. So the Zoia has 80 plus modules that are constantly being added to all the time. 20 of those modules are effects, and now I'm not going to sit here and list all of those because that would just, be kind of pointless when you can read it yourself. But what I will say is that there hasn't been an effect that I wanted to use that was not on that list. On top of all those sounds, they have a really well implemented randomize button, which kind of lets you randomize connections or randomize values between connections. And I find it super useful to quickly make a copy of a patch and just use the randomize button to kind of help myself get out of a creative rut whenever I come across one. Honestly, this thing is an instrument. It's so much more than a guitar pedal. And I know everybody says that, and you've probably heard it a bunch of times now. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you've seen a bunch of the others. But it's so true. This thing is so much deeper than its title. It has everything you need to make a synth voice. It even has a built-in sequencer. It even has a slew limiter. And if you don't know what a slew limiter is, don't worry about it. You probably don't need it. But the fact that this has one is absolutely insane. I can't recommend this pedal enough. With the short time that I've had it, I've been able to make some really, really cool effects. Stuff that I've been able to use with the Octatrack and just general jamming. And it's just all around a great product. If you're just getting into pedals for basic, simple reverb, delay, phaser, etc., this is for you. Or if you want more complex, crazy, mangled up delays and distortions and whatnot, this is for you. Or if you need a simple sounding synth voice and a little sequencer, this is for you. Again, the Empress team killed it with this one. It's so much fun to use, and I'm really excited to see what the Empress team does now, knowing how powerful a tool like this is. Also, if you're not familiar with Empress, they're an effects company that makes really, really good sounding effects, and as their About Me says, quote, "Our goal is to inspire musicians and give them the tools to create any sound they can dream of, and even some they can't." They definitely hit the nail on the head with the Zoia. Well, that's it from me. Hope you found this video helpful. If you did, greatly appreciate the thumbs up. Or if you like seeing content like this, hit that subscribe button. Or if you got some spare cash hanging out, just chilling somewhere in a coat pocket or something, I sell synth-based merch on this website right here. It's also linked down below. And well, I guess that's it. I'll see you next week. Share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace.